Well, I got a lot of great responses out of my last video, Dating in the Bible, so I thought I would do a follow-up on it here. I'm glad to be hearing both sides of the argument. I'm not taking any of this offensively at all. Now I want to start out this video with a quote from Joshua Harris's book, I Kiss Dating Goodbye. Great quote. Intimacy without commitment is defrauding. Intimacy without friendship is superficial. Let's go back to that. Intimacy without commitment is defrauding. Defrauding is defined in 1 Thessalonians 4:6 as ripping someone off by raising expectations but not delivering on the promise. It's pretty harsh and pretty true of most dating relationships. Something I've noticed about dating over the years is that people date because they want short-term physical and emotional satisfaction without long-term commitment. And that gets real dangerous right there, because you're getting into just handing your heart out when God intended for your heart to be made whole, and you're going to fracture your life in more ways than you'll ever want to. I want to go into something that Joshua Harris talked about in his book, 7 Habits of Defective Dating. 1. Dating leads to intimacy but not necessarily commitment. That means that you're going to get into emotional and physical closeness without necessarily any sort of growth between y'all spiritually or otherwise. And that's not good, because y'all need to be growing together as a couple. 2. Dating tends to skip the all too necessary stage of friendship. Now when you go out, you go to the mall or whatever, you see someone cute, you go up and ask them out. How many of y'all know that those relationships will not work out from the beginning? Then why get into them? Because you're just going to hand out another piece of your heart and you're going to fracture yourself even more. 3. Dating often mistakes physical intimacy for love. Intimacy and love are not coherent. Intimacy is physical or emotional closeness without true love. Love, in my definition, and by the definition of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, is selfless, self-sacrificing, and you'll have to die to yourself every day. A dating relationship will never be able to capture that. Dating often isolates a couple from other vital relationships. Now this is a real important one to me right here, because I've noticed this whenever my friends go out and date. They get self-absorbed in that relationship. They don't talk to their parents. They aren't going to church as much. You're getting isolated from everything that you need to be growing as a Christian right now in your adolescence. And if you're not growing in Christ, you don't need to be growing with anyone else. Dating in many cases distracts us from our primary responsibility of preparing for the future. How many of y'all have trouble concentrating in school or church or anything like that once you're in a dating relationship? It's not easy to get your mind off of that person, and you're going to struggle in school, you're going to struggle spiritually. You don't need to be doing that right now. Wait till you're old enough and you know who you are in Christ before you start trying to figure out who you are in someone else. Dating can cause discontentment with God's gift of singleness. Now this I thought was really cool. Joshua Harris starts going in and explaining that God gives us this time in our adolescence to grow in Him and grow spiritually before we grow spiritually with someone else. And the gift of singleness is real great, because right now we can go on mission trips and do all this without worrying about anything else that's behind us. All we need to do is worry about what's here and now. And I think that makes life a heck of a lot easier. Now, number 7. This one is great. Dating creates an artificial environment for evaluating a person's character. Now, I know most of y'all probably put on a false front or something, or don't act the same when you're around your friends, whenever your date's around. And that's not good, because then you're completely disobeying the Bible, where it says in Romans, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. You need to just be straight up with that person and show them who you are. My conclusion on all of this is that God would never want us to participate in something that will hinder our ability to grow spiritually, or even with our families, friendships, and other relationships like that. God has ordained a specific person for each of us, and we don't need to go handing our heart out piece by piece to everyone that walks by. Instead, show your future spouse that he or she is worth waiting for. That was one other thing that Joshua Harris talked about, is that on your wedding day, if you were up there taking your vows and you had everyone that you dated in your past come up next to the altar by you, and your spouse had to see that, would you be very proud of your record? Just a little food for thought there. Y'all have a good day.